You are listening to the third episode of Que Show. Love is in the air, Andrés.
Sí huele.
¿Cómo estás, güey? ¿Cómo
Bien.
estás, güey?
¿Qué onda?
¿Cómo estás, güey?
Estoy bien, güey, estoy bien. Es dominguito y pues domingo como que
Domingo
tiene...
en fuego.
Domingo en fuego, como dicen mis compas, los 21 Ps. Yeah, dude, chillin', having a good time, to Que Show.
Muy bien, Hoy ha sido un día muy optimistic, güey. No hemos salido de esta cueva, güey, de hecho, güey. Ya nos falta...
Oler afuera.
Sí, güey, fresh air, güey. De hecho, la agarramos ayer, pero agarré esta chevecita, güey, and the whole concept of this beer looks like it's just, it's like the perfect campfire beer, güey. Y sí, ¿no? Tan como the design of the can is just like the stars.
Mira la raza, güey.
Para que vea la raza ahí. Y sí está muy rica, güey. Está muy... No hay nada impresionante de esta beer, pero sí está muy pisteable. Muy
Es una stout, parece.
¿Qué dice aquí? Es una stout.
Sí se siente como acá fuerte negra acá.
No, sí.
Pero es la negra, güey.
Ay, es que la negra... No discrimino, yo no discrimino, culo. No, pero dice, mira, smooth, roasted, silky. Y sí tiene como un coffee, like notes of coffee, güey.
Y te gusta el café,
A
güey.
mí me gusta el café, güey. Soy bien hipócrita, güey, porque no me gusta el café, pero sí me tomo una coffee porter.
Sí, y pues yo ya no puedo decir que me gusta el café, me mandaste que salió
¿Te ha
que...
dado dolor de cabeza desde que dijiste eso?
Ya ni tomo café, güey, desde que dije. No,
Ya
güey,
te
dice
quedaste.
retire, güey, porque no puedo...
Sí,
la
no,
gente
ya
me
no
ve...
es tu grinder, ¿Qué hiciste con él?
Ya lo hice el taca. Sí, güey, no, si la gente me ve con un café, ya
Sí,
no va a quedar esa
te
madre.
va a cantar la castiga.
Pero lo que sí voy a seguir tomando por el momento, mientras Dios lo permita,
Me lo permita.
es esta chevecita, güey. Esta neta que salió muy rica. Es una Indian Pale Ale de Beechwood, que es una brewery en Monterrey, se me hace. No, Huntington Beach, perdón. Huntington Beach. Y está muy rica, güey. Neta, yo no me la agarré porque dice 2021. Y pensé, es una good sign, güey. Quiere
Good
decir,
sign, good omen.
sí, porque sabe rica, quiere decir que el 2021 va a saber rico.
It's science, güey. No, seguro la cheve de 2020 de Beechwood
Está bien mala, güey, sí, güey, no la pruebo, pero...
La abres y era un puto de espuma,
Sí,
güey.
ándale, sí. Ojalá, güey, porque that would be funny.
No, pero
está muy
pues
rica,
sí,
güey.
este año se siente más
Más luz
upbeat,
acá,
güey,
sí, sí.
más con más ánimo, güey, más
Creo que
optimistic, güey.
es porque llevamos un año de saber y odiar este año. O sea, mucha
El
gente...
2020 dices tú.
Ajá, el 2020,
Sí,
el 2020,
sí.
ajá. Sí, o sea, así pues, claro. El 2020 y que es como saliendo de una relación, güey, acá, que una relación que tú la decidiste terminar porque no estaba buena para
Porque
ti.
ya de plano estaba muy tóxica
Sí,
esa relación.
y sales tú bien acá, bien pilas que no, lo que sigue va a ser mejor.
Sí.
Como tiene que ser mejor porque esto no estaba bien.
Sí, güey, pues hablando de relaciones, güey, estamos en el mes del amor y la amistad.
Y la amistad,
Y es
sí.
muy importante y la amistad, güey.
Mucha
Yo
gente
no-
no lo ve así
Sí,
y creo
güey.
que es importante.
Sí, güey, qué bueno que piensas igual que uno, güey, porque yo nunca he sido noviero, güey. Nunca se me ha dado, nunca se me ha antojado.
A ver quién le cree,
No, pues no.
Total,
pues
las
no,
morras que lo rechazaron antes.
Ching.
Jokes on you. Él no quería.
No.
Acá
no.
saliste de las relaciones. Jaja, no me dolió.
Sí.
Sí.
Oh, fuck.
Bueno, pues. Bueno, te voy a creer, güey. No
Ya,
querías.
Bueno, after that roast, nunca he sido yo de, nunca he sido yo de estar en relaciones serias.
Ujú.
I think that's a better way to
Sí,
say it.
sí.
Pero llegaba el pinche 14 de febrero, güey, y era de todos acá vienen caramelizados, güey, con
Muy de caramelo
globitos,
acá.
güey, y la verga, yo como, pues es también de la amistad.
Sí. También tienen amigos,
Sí,
pero...
yo tengo amigos,
Sí,
¿por qué
sí.
no me regalan chocolates a mí? Qué verga.
Sí, cierto, güey. Sí, es la neta porque hay más gente, bueno, la verdad no sé la estadística, pero quisiera imaginar que hay más gente en el mundo soltera que en pareja. ¿Qué crees que sea verdad eso?
Pues para la verga.
Sería un pinche tirando un dardo acá a la
Sí,
oscuridad.
güey.
Puede ser, y bueno, al menos es mitad. ¿Verdad?
Sí,
Ponle que
sí,
mitad
sí,
mitad
sí,
de
bueno.
la gente tiene pareja y la otra mitad de la gente del planeta no tiene pareja.
Sí, no.
Quizás sea verdad, ahí me hagan pinche fact check.
Hagan fact check
Fact
aquí
check.
el compa Rosales.
Sería bien saber, pero a lo que voy es que el día no debería ser nomás para un grupo de gente, o sea, también la gente que, ya, especialmente porque el nombre se llama amor y amistad, o sea, ya va incluido ahí, es el paquete.
Sí,
o sea, los de la pareja se adueñaron acá, es nuestro holiday.
Sí, güey.
No, pues
¿Qué opinas de las parejas que demuestran, no que demuestren todo su amor en un día, pero ese día they go all out? O sea, ¿qué opinas del día de Valentine?
Sí.
What do you think about Valentine's Day?
La neta no me gusta. Y es difícil porque pues yo ahorita tengo mi pareja.
Sí.
Y pues ella sí le gusta, ella sí le entra a esa madre,
Sí,
como...
no.
Ya no tanto porque pues ya llevamos rato unos años y ya como que ya sabe que conmigo no va eso mucho. Pero de hecho cuando empezamos que tuve, porque esa plática tiene que pasar. O sea, all couples assume that the other person is going to do something for Valentine's Day. So you have to fucking, like,
Es una conversación a huevo, entonces.
Sí, porque no quieres llegar al día y decir, no te agarré nada. Ahí va a ser
Qué
un pedo.
culo,
Sí,
sí.
va. Sí, eso
If
tiene-
it's the first time,
Sí,
if it's
sí.
your first Valentine's, I think you have to.
Sí, fucking warning. If you're watching this and you're about to go into your first Valentine's Day with your couple, and you're the type of person que isn't into that shit, like, dígales ahorita, porque si le esperas hasta el día de Valentine's Day y you show up with nothing and they happen to get you something,
Tronar, güey.
pinche cachetadón.
Aparte el cachetadón, el awkwardness de que,
Ah, sí, güey.
espérame, está en el carro.
Sí, y al
Nunca
menos que
arrancas a la
Sí,
pinche
sí.
tienda, güey.
Sí, pero la neta a mí no me da tanto el querer hacer mucho. O sea,
Sí.
he aprendido que tengo que, para hacer una relación tienes que hacer compromise.
Sí, güey.
Y pues mientras pasaron los años con mi pareja, que llevamos casi 5 años, ya yo de perdida le agarro algo leve, o sea, algo que dice, hey, I acknowledge this day
Sí,
is
man.
about love.
Sí,
Like, I love you, so ahí te va un pinche, que sea un chocolate, una cita, o sea, ese día, aunque sea martes, miércoles, o sea, un día que típicamente no saldría con ella a
Sí,
agarrar
man,
comida.
sí, man, sí,
Vamos
man.
a comer, hombre.
Unos
¿qué
tacos, ¿verdad?
Sí, la neta, unos
No
taquitos.
hay otra forma
birria.
de mostrar amor
Sí,
que,
hay tacos.
que comprarle a alguien tacos, güey.
Sí, güey, he visto esos camisas que dice I taco you, güey, y esa madre es
It hits-
better.
Sí, güey, it hits a lot.
Pero pienso que deberían de tomar esa plática, eso es en serio,
Sí,
porque
güey, sí.
si no se les truena. ¿Tú qué? ¿Cómo opinas del día?
I
de
think it's
Valentine?
overrated, güey.
What do you think is wrong with it?
Me caga a mí what do you call it? Not the commercial side of it, but like just the business side of Valentine's.
Sí, sí, sí.
It's all a business. Llega February 1st, güey, todas las tiendas ya te están como
Sí.
atacando con
Balloons de corazones.
signs, güey,
Sí,
o con ads, güey, o con
Sí, güey.
everything. It's just all in your face, güey.
Sí, pero pues
And
es...
it's just like spend. This is what bothers me. This is how you show someone you love that you love them. This is how you show someone you love them. This is
Yeah.
how you.
They're telling you,
It's
huh?
like no. Have you ever heard of the love languages?
Ah, sí, güey.
If y'all don't know about the love languages, look it up. It will save your relationship with your mom, your sister, your
Yeah,
cousin, your
everybody.
friend, yourself. Güey.
Sí, güey.
Machine, güey.
Sí.
And I think it's very important. Like learn the love language of your partner or the person you love, and go that route.
Son 7 love languages, ¿no?
Son 5.
5. ¿Te sabes el tuyo?
El mío.
¿O te sabes todo primero
A
para la
ver,
gente?
para la gente ver, mira,
Yo no
pues
sé
este
si
es
me
el spot, güey.
Es que no me acuerdo. Yo sé que es gifts.
Gifts es uno. Y hay dos, o sea, you have two love languages, the receiving end and the giving end.
Yeah.
Like you could love giving but hate receiving. It's kind of weird if you're that one. But,
Yeah.
Okay, so there's gifts. You like giving or gifting. And it doesn't have to be expensive. It could be like,
Sí, güey.
te compré una flor.
Sí, yo miro mucho que gente llega con un Starbucks, un coffee.
Ujú.
Y eso siempre es en
Sí,
Instagram. Acá, me dio un pinche Starbucks.
Y quiero hacer un punto muy importante, que el amor no es siempre romántico. Es if you're a boss and you want to show your coworkers that you appreciate them and your love language is gifts, you're going to probably give them a gift card,
Sí.
or you're more likely to give them a gift in some
Yeah.
way.
Like when you want to appreciate someone or show
Yeah.
someone you love them, you go that route usually if your love language is gifts, ¿verdad?
Gifts. So primero es gifts. El segundo, y no están en orden, ¿verdad? This is it's all different. El segundo es time.
Quality time.
Quality time.
That's mine.
That's mine too.
That's
and
it.
it's like, and I think,
Quality time.
and I think that one it's obvious because we leave a lot to the side, and just when we get together, it's all about the time we're spending together.
See, so the way you appreciate people or show that you appreciate them is by spending time with them, right? Like saying, hey, vamos a ver una cheve, you two.
Ajá, esa intimate conversation one-on-one.
Okay.
That's that quality time, güey.
Yeah.
Luego tenemos words of affirmation, güey. That one has been like rising. Oh, another point. Your love languages fluctuate.
Si no tienes uno.
Ajá,
Son todos.
Y pasa el año, puede cambiar tu love language. And you have to be very conscious.
They're like in a rank, ¿no? Por
Ajá,
ejemplo, mi top one es este y tengo second y acá.
Y van cambiando, güey. Words of affirmation has been going up. And I've realized that the people that are close to me and the people that I love, I'm just more vocal on how I feel with them. Les digo el chile. I'm more comfortable telling them, hey, I love you. Le digo, como a todos mis compas, los vatos, güey, les digo, te amo, I love you. Tell your friends I love you, güey. Let's fucking normalize that shit, güey.
Sí, neta sí, güey. I'm all for that. De hecho, eso venía bueno, al ratito viene mi pregunta acá que te iba a hacer, pero es en ciertas maneras de eso, como platicar con gente de...
Sí,
has to do with the love language of words of affirmation, speaking the love. Okay, so
tenemos gifts, quality time, words of affirmation, acts of service.
Acts of kindness.
Acts of service.
Acts of kindness, ¿no? Yo lo conozco.
Kindness.
Amor de service. Acts.
Ese se me hace a little hard. I have difficulty explaining it, but the best way I understand it is haces paros. Brincas paros.
Sí. No, ajá, haz de cuenta. Pero como yo me lo aprendí, es como, por ejemplo, si yo sé que mi amiga, mi mamá, mi papá están haciendo algo que quizás están muy apurados porque they have a lot of shit on their plate, I, without telling them, or maybe with telling them, I do one of those things for them. Como por ejemplo, si mi jefa está muy ocupada y yo le quiero enseñar cómo que I appreciate her, quizás yo voy y le digo, hey, yo voy a agarrar las groceries this week so you don't have to like go get groceries. And you just fucking get groceries. Como unas cosas, algo que yo hago, por ejemplo, cuando voy a visitar a mi jefa, yo le lleno el tanque de gas.
Sin que te lo pida.
Sin que me lo pida.
I think that's where it is. Muchas veces sin que alguien te pida, sacar la basura, güey, hacer...
Sí, ajá, sacar la basura. Un paro, sí,
un parillo acá. Sí, güey, so ahí van ¿cuántas? Cuatro
ya, güey.
Gifts, quality time, acts of service, words of affirmation. Queda una, güey.
Siempre me quedo en la última, güey. Es porque es la que menos tengo, yo creo.
Sí, güey. Ding dong. Insert elevator music now. Should we Google it? No, pues no tenemos los fondos.
No, sin tecnología. Pero hay que nos digan.
Hay que nos digan. We'll probably come up in the pod. We'll remember. Do you have a question of the day?
Sí, güey. So my question, it has to do, you kind of talked about yours being words of affirmation, how you have push yourself to tell people you love them, especially men, like men in your life. Okay, I feel like it's a good point. So I was gonna ask, like, well, one, what is your love languages? What is your love language? How do you like to receive love or receive appreciations, and how do you usually give it to others?
My top is quality time. I rather do something with you than gift you something. Oh, like Christmas came around? Oh, bro, it's the worst time for me.
That's all quality. That's how I give.
That's a gift, güey. Ahí, yo soy bien como, if I'm going to give you a gift, I guess I put this pressure on myself.
Yeah.
But, like, it has to be meaningful and it has to be come from a really great place. Me caga, güey, regalarle gente. Fuck it, le agarré esta madre.
Gift card, güey.
Un gift card, güey. A very meaningless gift se me hace como more of a compromiso que esto me nació del
you said meaningless. Do you mean more like, because that could mean the world, like a Starbucks gift card could mean the world for someone who like really struggles and likes that, you know, like whatever. Pero maybe not meaningless. Wouldn't you say it's more like less personal?
Yeah, that's great way to...
Because you want your gift to be personalized.
Very personal, very intimate, very, I guess,
I feel the same.
Quality time. If you are struggling with gifts, like I struggle with gifts, think of their love language, or think of your love language, and think of like quality time could be a gift. Invítalos a
concierto, güey.
un concierto, güey. Invítalos a cenar. Algo que hago con todos mis amigos, su cumpleaños los llevo a cenar.
Yeah, it's a gift of quality
y
time.
ellos escogen el lugar. Me vale madre. Vámonos. That's the way I tell them, hey, I appreciate you.
Some more.
So that's my top way, quality time. If I know, I invest in people who invest in me time. I invest time in people when they invest time in me.
Yeah.
If si una persona es muy cortante or it's hard to reach, it's como, I'm wasting my time.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah, you want your time to be appreciated.
Sí, güey, I value my
time. Pero algo que yo miro interesante con like the idea of love languages is there should be a very clear understanding that the way you receive love and the way you give love are two different things, right? Like the way I want to receive love or feel appreciated probably might be different than how I give it, right? Those are two different things. I could really like receiving love by gifts, but maybe when I show love, I usually don't give people gifts. Maybe I'm usually like an act of service, you know?
Okay. Are you...
And so what I'm trying to get to is that it's for this to really help you in your relationships. What I found and what I've read is that you have to really dissect the other person to see what their love language is, because we as people who have love languages often have a very like a natural avenue where we want to show love. Por ejemplo, si yo quiero regalarte algo, yo soy quality time. That's how I like to receive it. So naturally, the way I think I can show you my appreciation to you is by taking you out to dinner or spending time with you. Pero if that's not your love language, then I could do that every weekend. Yo te puedo sacar a comer todos los weekends, pero tu pareja o tu amigo puede llegar un día que te diga, I don't feel... quizás en esas palabras no, pero no me siento apreciado por ti. No siento que me quieres, ¿verdad? Y es importante, to avoid that, is like if you're really going to dive deep into these love languages, you have to understand that first, you can even ask them. A lot of people like to be asked.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Ask them straight up.
Yeah. And that way you can, instead of falling to your natural response, which would be quality time in my case, I know that that's maybe not yours, so I'm not necessarily going to do that. I'm going to think a little bit harder outside the box perhaps and see, okay, I know they're not quality time like I am. They're acts of kindness, acts of service. So instead of doing that, instead of taking them out to eat, I'm going to help them clean the apartment or take their car on a car wash.
Simón.
O más así.
El más, I think the easiest one to explain is if you have quality time, that's your love language, and your partner is acts of service, and their quality time is not even on their top 3, then you will feel this like you're not making enough time for me, which is valid. And that's a communication thing. Yeah. But if you pay attention, usually it's like the other person washes the car without you asking, brings in the groceries without you asking, folds clothes, does laundry, has the house clean, fucking does that little shit that you never think about. But that person's always like on par. Sí. Always has everything ready, making sure you're ready. You're taken care of.
Sí, the best thing is to do all 5, pero pues 9 está cabrón a veces. So if you can at least pinpoint the top 2 of your partner or of whoever you're trying to appreciate, or maybe someone you feel like you haven't appreciated enough, especially if someone comes up to you and says they don't feel appreciated. A mí me ha pasado que yo me siento no apreciado por amigos o mi pareja. Sí, y I have to come out and say like, I don't feel like I've done this, like I don't feel like you appreciated me. Bueno, no lo digo así, pero o sea,
you bring up the conversation.
The conversation, like I don't feel special right now, and I feel like what's going on, dude. It's always good to have those conversations. I'm a big fan of communicating. Like I studied that shit, and so I know that a heavy conversation can lead to fucking
deeper connection
with happiness in the long run. Like if you invest in that conversation, even if it might be awkward, hard, I really like that me and my partner have created that sort of space where we can just share that shit, and the other person's like, oh, like I'm gonna take that in and I'm gonna see what I can do. Y pues está vergas porque a veces if you just hold on to that, you don't say that, you don't feel like everybody wants to feel appreciated. Everybody should feel appreciated. But if they don't, that shit, it affects other parts of your life. Like you're groggy, you're fucking, you're not, you don't feel. That could lead to like depression and shit. You know, people who are depressed often don't feel appreciated. You know, and so a simple gift or a simple act of kindness, a simple word of affirmation. Like a lot of people, when people are depressed, they go over to words of affirmation. Like you're special, you're strong, you can do this. Pero eso, that could be, te lo puedes decir todos los días.
Sí, güey, no.
Y si esa persona a lo mejor quiere quality time, valiste verga.
Andale. Sí, güey. It's a lot about, and this is something a lot of people struggle with, is asking for what you want and what you need. A lot of people put their needs aside para no molestar a alguien más. Pero pónganse primero, o sea, ponte primero, and this is important for me, bring it up. And we were talking in the other episode, I think, about being in uncomfortable situations and how that allows you to grow.
And los cold showers.
Sí, los cold showers, don't bring it up. Pero los uncomfortable conversations, güey, usually lead to deeper connections with someone.
Sí. Have you recently had a hard conversation with someone?
That's a good question.
Do you feel like you've done that a while ago and that's kind of like led to... Like, how long has it been?
It's been a while since I had a really, really deep conversation. Pero,
that means things are going right?
Pero aquí está el pedo, güey. Es que soy una persona muy intensa, güey.
Sí,
and by intensa me refiero como... Dude, something I hate is small talk, güey.
Dude.
Oh, bro. Bang, 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 bang. Like, fucking... I fucking hate small talk. ¿Y cómo estás? ¿Y qué haces? Oh, güey, ya, güey.
Sí.
Quiero saber cuándo fue la última vez que lloraste, güey. Como quiero conocerte, güey. I have that type of reputation in my friend group. Sí. Una amiga me dijo, shout out to Melissa. Estábamos jugando billar, güey, y me dijo, la conocí por el Edgar, güey. El Villavicencio. Okay. Shout out to Villavicencio.
Eddie
B. Y me dijo, no, pues el Edgar me estaba diciendo que tú eres un gran amigo, pero que eres poco intenso. And now I see it. Like, you really like to connect with people.
Sí.
And at first I didn't know how to take that way, but then I took it like a compliment.
Sí.
It's like every friendship I have, like I'll have a deep conversation. At some point, if I appreciate you, I want to get to know you. I want to get what are your fears, like, and not in like como interview type of way, sino como te quiero conocer más de tu what you do day to day. Me vale ver cómo trabajes, güey. Quiero saber si te gusta tu trabajo.
Sí.
Quiero saber si what are your goals? What are your ambitions? Like,
sí.
Those are the fun conversations for me to have.
Have you heard of the social penetration theory?
Sounds sexual.
It does, yeah. That's how it gets people attention. Social penetration theory is a communication theory. Okay. Es una idea de estudio de comunicación que basically the way you want to think about it is like an onion. Right? So think of socializing and interpersonal communication, which is talking. The academic word is interpersonal communication. That means you and another person are having a dialogue.
Wow.
This theory talks about how to penetrate or to get deeper into someone's being and character, you have to do a little bit of peeling off of layers, like an onion. So this is a very well documented theory. If you are interested in this shit, like fucking look at it. It's really interesting how you have to get to a deep conversation or to a deep value that someone holds that you want to talk about with them. You have to shave off the other onions. You can't go deep you never meet someone and the first day, I mean, rarely do you meet someone and on the first day they are telling you their deep, darkest secrets.
Muy raro.
Yeah, and if they do, it throws you off.
See, right? It's like a red flag, right?
It
it's
is.
Like whoa.
Yeah, exactly. Whoa. So this theory explains why there's rules in our society, social cues that allow us to get to know someone, which is really interesting because you kind of, if like someone like you who likes to have those deep conversations, I recommend you look into this theory because it helps you get to that deep part with most people.
Does the theory like go into depth on how to get to deeper conversations?
It talks about how people there's other articles about that have studied, but every person's different, so it's hard to pinpoint like one broad way. But oftentimes, like for example, to peel off the first layer, you have to get name, and just like pronoun things like.
Dude, I thought you said you gotta get naked. Okay,
that's in the deeper layer.
Okay.
That comes later. No, if you're lucky. So there are ways that are a little bit general. Like you can't really. I mean, maybe, but very rarely. Again, do you get to a point where you're really knowing someone's being without knowing their name? So there's certain rules that you have to surpass before you can peel off an onion. It's really interesting.
So we're all onions, güey.
We're
all onions, güey, and we're always growing layers.
Sí, por eso cuando haces peel and when you get deeper into someone and you have deep conversations, you cry.
¡Ah! Saca la manilla, saca la... güey, that shit's fucking...
No, saqué la manilla. Pero bueno.
Qué intenso esto del amor.
Sí, pero neta que si saben su love language, o si no se lo saben, that shit's fucking key. That changed my life.
Yeah, dude. Love languages are it's a game changer, way. Where could they find love languages? Like how can they find out?
You can actually, there's much like the Myers-Briggs test that tells you, I mean that's a whole nother conversation. Myers-Briggs tells you personality test. There's a love language. There's a website. I'm sure there's many, but I've done one where I answer a few questions, pass my love language. Yo casi ya sabía que era quality time, pero I did it y salió quality time y luego te da tus top 3. Te dice todos en orden, de hecho.
Yeah. Go to Google.
Yeah.
5 love languages test, free test or whatever. It might be lengthy, a lot of questions.
Neta, lo que yo me acuerdo, no, hay uno que está, no duras más de 10 minutos.
Bueno, depende del test. You see, pero they're all gonna give you different answers.
It's worth it, dude.
So here's
10
the thing.
minutes para.
Yeah, do the test, and then just reflect. Gifts. Do I like giving gifts or no? And just start thinking of that. Once that you have it in your head, you're gonna realize real quick, oh wow, I really appreciate it, man. I really want. You'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well, a little bit of a follow-up question is, do you feel like specifically as a guy, like I feel like it's important to do, because there's women, and maybe I'm generalizing a little bit, but I feel like from my observations in life, I feel like women are accepted by society as people who can show their love very freely. Como miran
vulnerable.
Sí, güey. No te ha tocado que a veces ni es una persona con la que estás, pero a veces en la calle miras que dos amigas se ven después de no verse. ¡Oh my God!
Sí, güey.
Sí, te vuelven loco, güey. Sí, güey.
¿Y los vatos cómo se saludan?
Sí, güey. Sí, güey, no, pero de vez en cuando sí miras que vatos que, oh, what's up, como acá, pero es bien, lo expresan de diferente manera. Tú, how do you find it complicated as a man to show love to others, particularly other men?
Good question. La neta no, güey. A mí me vale verga, güey. Very bluntly, I hate being in the box, way. I'll do a lot of shit, and not like always or extreme, but like if it categorizes me as feminine, like I'm 100% okay with that.
Yeah.
Like I'm 100% okay. I know who I am.
Yeah.
And I don't need to prove that to anyone.
Sí,
so yo a ti, güey, te he abrazado, güey, en público. You're not a hugger, right? You're just genuine, but I am, güey. Sí. So I'll fucking hug you every time, and you're like so you're like, fuck me. And I think you've accepted that by now, sí, so now you just embrace it.
A lot of my people know me for that shit, dude. Like, mi suegra, de hecho, güey, no me respeta al punto que dice, ay, como, hi, y pues, como que, sí la abrazo para no ser mamón, o sea, no así como, no me toques, pero sí está cura, like, sometimes, people know that about me, and I appreciate that, because they respect it, you know, pero, okay, so if you feel like you're comfortable with that, now my other question is, like, have you always been that way?
I'm glad you asked that question. No, way, not always. I've learned to break that. I don't know where I learned this from, but life is not about learning. It's about unlearning. So that's something I had to unlearn. That like masculine machismo, be stoic all the time. No, wait, just be yourself. A mis amigos, I tell them I love them all the time. I tell them to take care all the time. I ask how they're feeling. It's funny because I'm not that expressive with my feelings. Right?
So you like to receive,
but I don't really open up and let go. And that's actually, I'm just figuring that out right now.
Yeah, well, that has to do with the social penetration theory. Like someone that hasn't reached you, or a lot of people Your layers are a
O
little
sea,
bit...
me gusta penetrar, pero que no me penetren, güey.
Sí, güey. Sí, güey. No, de hecho sí, o sea, hay diferente gente, hay gente que requiere diferentes cosas para soltarse, para soltar información, and you're just a little bit tighter.
Sí, güey, it takes a long time. The closest relationships I have or I've had son porque llevan años. Llevo años con ellas y con esas relaciones. And I'm more open, I'm more susceptible to being vulnerable. So I haven't always been this way. It was just one point where I was like, me vale, o sea, en serio me vale, güey, que piense la gente, güey. Other people's thought ideas of me is limiting me telling you that I love you.
Yeah.
How long? Si te mueres mañana, güey. Oh, fuck.
Sí, ahí está el regret.
Ahí está el regret, güey.
¿Cuánto llevas que... Because you said it was a process. Like, has it been a while or apenas?
Yo que unos 3 años max.
That you felt comfortable
Más
expressing?
Más como 2 y medio. Pero 3 años.
That you felt comfortable?
I started feeling comfortable now.
Good shit, man.
How
you feel like happier? Generally happier?
I don't think it's happiness, but I think it's liberating and it's free. And I think that, I guess, that comes into happiness.
Potentially.
That ties into happiness.
Chingón.
¿Tú qué pedo? Tú eres, how are you with the people around in your life? How open are you?
I've been pushing myself to be a little bit more communicative. Me estoy esforzando porque ciertos amigos o familia como que pienso que me ven de cierta manera.
Órale.
Y hay otra teoría de comunicación que se llama Uncertainty Reduction Theory.
¿Y qué es eso?
This is one of my favorite theories actually, so
thank
you for asking.
We have the time.
Sí, Uncertainty Reduction Theory talks about how we all have expectations. Right? We all have expectations, and so if someone does something that is outside of what we expect of them to act, then we become como que nos da miedo, güey. Como que nos agarra, it throws you off.
Sí,
Miedo no, pero por ejemplo, si tú ahorita empezaras a hablar alemán, güey,
te cagas,
me sacaras de onda, güey.
Sí, güey.
Because I'd be so uncertain. Like, right, I have a expectation of how you should act because I've known you for a couple of years, and I also have expectations for strangers to act because I know how strangers or people in public usually act. So a lo que voy es que todos los que me conocen tienen una expectativa de cómo yo actúo porque me han conocido.
Sí,
así que si yo de repente I feel like I want to get to a point where I'm telling everybody I love them, how I tell them how I want to be appreciated. But I've only achieved that with a certain amount of people, the people I'm closest to, because maybe I've seen them more frequently, so I can sort of slowly and gradually prepare them for that switch.
Okay.
Porque de un día para el otro no puedo llegar y decir, hey, te amo cabrón, y o sea, sí puedo, y quizás sea bueno, pero no quiero la otra persona decir, a la verga, te estás muriendo, qué pedo.
Sí.
O sea, so I've been working on my relationships so that I can be the person I am. So I know who I want to be, and I'm not uncomfortable showing it. I feel like it's a process, right? You can't just go from one day to the other. I made this realization a year and a half ago, and so it's been a year and a half of me. A year and a half ago, I made the realization that I want to be more open to people who I love and tell them that I love them. Pero I don't want to I don't feel like it's... Because I know how they might react, I want it to come off naturally and gradually. Pero igual, yo I think the first step is to say I love you, right?
Similar.
To be like...
Is that the first step?
Well, to me it has been, because now they're the extreme would be saying it frequently and very like in your face, like, hey, güey, te amo, dame un pinche abrazo, te quiero y espero que, o sea, una pinche conversación acá se me haría muy extremo, pero puedo decir como, hey, güey, como... Después de un phone call, maybe you're just talking on the phone for like whatever reason, and like, hey, wait, thanks for calling, bro. I love you, bro. Peace out.
Okay.
Como I've done that with people who in my family who I haven't, maybe the people who I don't call regularly. You know? I'll put it at the end. Como, hey, by the way, I love you, man. Thanks for calling, or love you, person. Bye. So it's becoming natural. It's becoming normal. They expect that from me now. So if I say it, it's okay. Maybe the first time I was like, oh shit, they never said I love you before.
Okay. Me acuerdo la primera vez que you triggered me a memory. Me acuerdo I was in college. I left home for the first time. I realized that the relationship with my sister was, like, I wanted a strong relationship with my sister, and I realized that if I don't take initiative and try to connect with her, like, she's younger than me, so she doesn't fucking know better. Like, she's not gonna, and our relationship was just probably gonna be very, like, So one day I sent her a message, and all I said was, I love you. And it was hard to send. It was funny. It's crazy how, to my own sister, it was so hard to, like, tell her I love you. I guess I was being very vulnerable at that stage. I was 20 years old. And then I was expecting, okay, so I sent it, y no me contestó, güey, so there was like that anxiety, güey. Y dije yo como, okay, dije, she's gonna say I love you back, y muere. And she was like, me mandó, güey, what the fuck? Así, güey. Y yo me quedé como, what the fuck did I send that? Sí, so I had to change my mentality really quick, güey, porque I can't regret that I said I love my sister, right? So I was like, no, nada, this is actually how I feel. I just want to let you know in case you didn't know. I was thinking of you. And she was like, oh, okay, thank you. I love you too. And since then, dude, our relationship has been the fucking best, dude.
Shout out to your sister.
Shout out to Alexandra. She's been living at my house actually for like this year. It's a running joke. There's a running joke that like lleva ahí viviendo half a year, güey. Pues por la pandemic, like everything's online. Her school's online. She was like, hey, voy a Tucson. Y se queda como una semana. Se queda un mes, güey.
Sí, está bien.
So it's been cool. It's been a good time with her.
Pues lo mismo, ¿no? O sea, viene de que ella no... She had an expectation of you. You never said that. So you broke her expectation. It's like the... again, I mentioned How I Met Your Mother in this show.
Yeah.
How I Met Your Mother, un episode que... It doesn't explicitly say it's expectancy violation theory, pero... I saw that episode when I was learning about this shit, and I was like, fucking... This is a episode dedicated to this theory that I'm learning. Porque they call it the glass shattering effect.
Wow.
O sea, cuando escuchas un pinche vidrio quebrarse... So we all have our image that we portray to the world, and eventually you do some weird shit or shit that people don't expect, and it shatters
that perception of reality.
So yeah, and the show, the episode, the How I Met Your Mother, focuses specifically on the glass shattering effect as something that makes you realize that you don't actually like this person, or you realize someone's defect.
Sí.
Por ejemplo, sale que el Ted Mosby, que es el main character, or one of the main characters, he's a know-it-all.
Okay.
And so, and when they say it out loud, everybody in the room who knows Ted is like, glass shatters, porque dicen, fuck, that is true. You are a fucking know-it-all. I didn't realize it until now. My image of you is shattered. And as I'm saying it, maybe it's not directly tied to expectancy violation, but it has something to do with like your expectations of someone aren't necessarily the reality. We all have our expectations of someone else, but that doesn't mean that's how they are. That's what we've constructed of them.
Cambiando un poquito el tema.
Dale.
Porque estoy viendo el tiempo aquí. Te voy a hacer mi pregunta, güey. And you were talking about it earlier, and I wanted to ask you the question, but dije, no, que se flow the conversation, güey. We were talking about love.
Se viene febrero.
Estamos en febrero.
Sí.
En el mes del amor, la amistad. Mi pregunta para ti es, ¿qué es el amor, güey? It's a very basic question, but
What is love?
But it could get really... No, if you really think about, like, question yourself, what is love? ¿Qué es el amor?
Yo pensé en esta pregunta hace muchos años, güey. No, en serio, de una vez es que como, how do I quantify it?
Ándale.
So yo dije, porque I'm the kind of person who doesn't like I like abstract things, but I also find comfort. I feel like everybody finds comfort in quantifiable things. Mm-hmm. Things that we can pinpoint to. This much, this is that. So when it comes to love is a very abstract concept. It means the world, it means a new thing to everybody, right? So I was like, I was just thinking to myself, how can I make this a consistent definition for me so that I can... This might sound like a very douchey thing to say, but I wanted it to be like, I want to know who I love in my life and who I don't.
I don't think it's douchey at all. I think it's like, no. Like I
was cutting people out.
You didn't make the list. Yeah. You didn't make the list. Pero no, I think it's very important. Wait, to who do you want in your space? A lot of times we have all these people in our lives that are just filling voids or filling space, pero no nos sirven de nada, güey.
Sí.
A veces nos hacen hasta daño, güey, pero nos da como un miedo dejarlos ir, güey. Sí. Who do you actually love? Who actually loves you is something you should really think about.
Yeah, and it's hard to know who loves you and who you love if you don't have a quantifiable measurement, something that's consistent measurement that applies to everything, right?
So have you found it? Oh shit.
Yeah. So I after much thought, I realized that what love means to me, I mean, love is fucking appreciating someone to the point where, and this is how I know who I love and who I might not love, is that would I, if presented with the opportunity to take a bullet for them, if I would take it, says de que alguien que venga y culo, I don't know how this would happen, pero está la persona esta y estoy yo y me dicen, tú o esa persona. If I say me, si digo yo, dame el balazo a mí, then
realmente la amas.
Esa persona passed the test, my love test. That's my love test. And I'm not saying this is how people should necessarily see their relationships.
Yeah, let's clarify. This is your definition.
This is my definition. So I've learned that, because sometimes it's tricky. Sometimes you really, really like someone, but I know deep down that I probably wouldn't take a bullet for them. If I don't, then I'm like, I really appreciate you. I might move mountains or try to do it for you, pero at the end of it, it's not love. So I know that I shouldn't put all of my being into what you want, because I have other people who I love porque a veces te atoras entre dos personas, güey. No necesariamente en romantic relationships, pero entre un primo y un tío, no sé, algo, güey. Y dices, pues, si los dos te piden algo que contradicts, it would be nice to know who you actually love. Sí. I think.
Suena como que está como súper intensa tu definición, pero porque esa intensidad, la intensidad que tienes, I'm sure the people that you really love in your life están como bien asegurados.
Sí,
like you're not fucking, like you puedes estar blindfolded, I mean, and you know.
Yeah.
Like you know.
Yeah. And so that's how I know. Like oftentimes in now specifically to romantic relationships, I spent a lot of time when I was when I was starting off with my partner, and I think this is what got me into diving deep into this thought of like, how do I know when I love that person? Because we'd been dating for a month or two, and I was like, I feel different like for this person that I didn't feel like this before, with other people, and so I was like, how? But is it love?
Is it love?
Yeah, de hecho. No, yo escribí una rola hace poquito. I'm actually working on it. Que one of the lines is in there that dives into this idea. Well, that, and also the idea of like, how do you know that the person you love has a definition of it? Because that's it's scary, bro. Like that I can take a bullet for you, but if the coin was flipped, would you do that shit for me?
Yeah.
Like, when you really think about that shit, it's fucking scary porque
te pones a pensar en you put the relationship on the line, basically. It almost sounds like.
And love, I think, is something that, it should be, real love at least is unconditional.
Oh, really?
I think, right? Like if you actually love someone,
I think love is conditional.
Oh, you think so? Okay.
I think it should be conditional.
Okay, I don't think that. I don't agree with that. I think
igual, cada quien tiene su definición del amor.
Yo pienso porque by the time I make that decision that I take a bullet for that person, that's love. If they do something that gives me a new picture of their character, then I can reassess.
See, that's where I think it's conditional. Like I'll love you
until you prove me differently. No?
Yeah. Pero, like, I'll love you, no questions asked. Like, I'm not even going to challenge it. I'm not even going to question it. But if you were to betray me in a way that, again, you're saying that glass shatters of that expectation, and it's something unforgettable. It's something I cannot really... Then it's like, well, I'm not going to continue loving you because it's No. It's like, okay, like...
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, then... I could still respect you. I could still appreciate you. I could thank you for everything, the happy moments or whatever. But love,
I respect that.
I think I have to take that title away from you.
Yeah, you lost the membership.
Sorry, not sorry.
Pero lo que iba es de que pensé mucho en la idea de que if I love someone then a question that soon follows is, do they love me? ¿Verdad? So I was toying with that idea, and I came up with this line of this questioning. I put it into a lyric, and I said, is it love? Because you're wondering, is it love, right?
Okay,
especially in the beginning, is it love? And then the next line is, and would you tell me if it wasn't?
So the line is, is it love, or would he tell me, is it?
If it wasn't. Is it love? And would you tell me if it wasn't? If I'm driving while I'm cussing, I hate when you say nothing, my love. Yeah, sigue.
Hey, wait.
El preview.
Todo está chido. Yeah, I haven't heard this song.
No, you haven't.
Y no así, ¿no? Me imagino que va más...
Guitarra.
Sí.
Pero es el tempo.
Oye,
pero sí, es de esa idea de que muchas veces nos entregamos así, especialmente cuando estás joven, güey. O sea, estamos jóvenes ahorita en YouTube, pero yo recuerdo en la high school, güey, yo sentía que quería a alguien y, la verga, todos me vale verga, menos esa persona. Y
es muy, muy peligroso, güey, porque al aferrarte con alguien, te olvidas de los demás, de tus amigos. Eso, in high school is very, very common that once you get in a relationship, como, ya lo perdimos este güey.
Sí, y más porque corres el riesgo de que la otra persona no te ame, pero aproveche, güey. Sí, como, they fucking, especially kids, bro, like, I mean everybody, I should say that, like, everybody can kind of know who's into them. I mean, there's sometimes where you're like, te dicen que te quiera y tú, me quería. Sí. Pero for the most part, you kind of know who's interested in you, know. Dices como que they're showing me a lot of attention, sí, especially in high school.
You're like getting those signs. No, I think in general in life.
Sí, güey, sí.
You get those cues.
¿Cómo es la morra, el nombre que dice el güey de Wherever Tomorrow, güey? Cuando piensa en una morra que le rompió el corazón.
¡Pinche Cassandra!
¡Cassandra, güey! Todos. Pero si quieres, si tienes el amor a una Cassandra, güey, la Cassandra se puede aprovechar, güey, porque va a decir, este vato está loquillo por mí. A la verga, lo voy a hacer lo voy a hacer pendejo aquí, que me traiga el lonche, que me compre.
Sí, hay una rola, maybe I'm getting off topic, güey, pero...
Cassandra.
Pinche Cassandra. Pero hay una rola de Café Tacuba, güey, que se llama Aprovechate. O aprovechate de mí o aprovechate. Y de eso habla, güey, como el vato sabe que está... Bueno, no el vato, la persona sabe que está enamorada, güey. Y le está diciendo a la persona, aprovechate de mí, o sea...
como que se está dejando como...
Ajá, como...
Ni pedo.
Dice, aprovechate de mí, hoy que estoy enamorado. Algo así dice la rola, güey.
Sí.
Es como...
Sí, muchas veces sabes,
Muchas veces sabes que te...
Es como una invitación, es como una invitación. Como, sí, dale gas, aprovechate.
Sí, güey. Sí. Atáscate que hay. Sí, güey, qué tal, Mario.
¿Cómo estamos en el
Estamos a 48 minutes de show.
Ojalá les esté gustando todavía la raza.
Ojalá estén ahí.
Pero pues yo creo que está bonito el tema del amor. Se tiene que platicar. Tú como lo quieras cuantificar. Yo ya sé que esa es mi manera, pero yo pienso que todos deberían de quizás enforzarse o empujarse a acercarse a una definición de amor porque yo pienso, a lo que yo me di cuenta es cuando yo empecé a decidir a quién en verdad le tengo amor.
Porque hay una diferencia, ¿no? Hay una diferencia en amor, cariño, appreciation, gratitude, like they're different feelings. They're not all love.
So, and once you actually make that decision, I feel like, at least for me, what I've realized is that I'm able to focus more on and prioritize those relationships. Sí, por ejemplo, cuando estaba en el colegio, güey, muchas veces por querer conocer a más gente priorizaba ir a fiestas o ir a cotorrearla con gente que en verdad yo no les llamaba mucho la atención a ellos. Y yo solo sabía quizás, pero iba de todos modos, o me esforzaba de todos modos, sabiendo que a la persona, por ejemplo, en vez de hablarle a casa a alguien que en verdad me importaba, me fui por algo nuevo, queriendo, y quizás a veces se vale, ¿no? Pero si estás pensando entre, le hablo a por ejemplo, a mi jefa que la amo, o en su cumpleaños, voy a este viaje con personas que me acaban de invitar, los estoy conociendo, o viajo a casa, ¿sabes?
Sí,
O sea,
güey, sí, güey.
si puedes cuantificar, your feelings for someone, then you can make those decisions a little bit easier, and it feels a little bit better. It doesn't feel like a big, overwhelming decision because you can. What I realized for me, it's like I've been able to have like a very clear focus on which relationships do I invest time, energy, and fucking thought to. Because there's some people that I don't really need to.
La neta, sí, güey. Ask yourself questions, question everything, question the people you're with, ask them difficult questions. El amor es un tema que me fascina, güey. I've been thinking about love for a while. We didn't get to share about my perspective of what love is.
Dime, güey, dime.
We're running out of time.
And un pinche elevator pitch.
Elevator pitch, güey. No.
What is love to you, güey?
Love is an energy.
Oof.
Love comes and goes. The more love you give, the more love you'll receive. Love is love. You can love your dog. You can love your mom.
Equally?
Equally.
Okay.
Love is love. We'll hear more of that on the next episode, güey, porque time is running out. Pero thanks for tuning in. If you stayed this long, thank you. Les mandamos un beso en el pedorro.
Yo no. Viene de Jorge nomás.
Y nada, where can they follow us, man?
Pues vamos a poner esta madre en Spotify, va a estar en YouTube. Tú te vas a encargar del TikTok, Facebook.
¿Qué pasa?
Sí, la verdad donde quieran. Ahí búsquenle qué show y va a salir. Pero hay que recomendarles algo para Valentines Day. Por si es que la raza quiere escuchar una cancioncita.
¿Qué tienes tú en mente?
Yo tengo una rolita que yo pienso que es una de las canciones por la letra. Y a mí me gusta ver la letra de una canción. Que explica muy bonito. Es otra manera de ver el amor. Y creo que es muy específica y creo que importa. La rola se llama First Day of My Life, The Bright Eyes. Specifically, there's this one line that I can also see as a way to quantify love. The line says, "This is the first day of my life. I'm glad I didn't die before I met you." Es como es una manera de decir la vida vale la pena porque te conocí. Y eso es, ¿qué es amor si no es eso?
Güey. Esa rola sí es lo que...
First Day of My Life.
First Day of My Life by Bright Eyes. Definitely, I recommend that song too, güey. Es una... The opening line is, "This is the first day of my life. This is the first day of my life." Tanto me gusta la rola, güey, que no. Pero habla de que you realize you have something in front of you, but you're also this is why I like the song, because you're the narrator, I guess, or the person who's singing this is conscious of himself y no se está entregando, no está diciendo aprovechate de mí, te amo, o úsame, algo que no, es como, wow, like I'm realizing what you are, I really appreciate you, but let's take our time. Yeah. Like, let's take our time, let's see where this goes, como, it's more like I appreciate you.
Sí, no,
and I realized
you're special for
I realized that.
Yeah, I think that one of the first lines is también que está interesante y me gusta como este güey es una verga para escribir, güey. Si no han escuchado Bright Eyes, ese güey está pesado. He has some solo shit too that's pretty good. It's pretty good. He was coming to Oakland here a while ago, pero una de las lines dice, I thought I'm sure I was blind before I met you.
Oh, that's what I think that is.
Que es como,
that's the opening line, I think. That's what I thought I was blind before I met you. That's what I meant. That's what I was
no miras nada, viste a esta persona y todo se vistes colores.
The way I interpret it is, you're seeing life, but entra esta persona en tu vida y ves el mundo de una perspectiva diferente, güey. Ya estás viendo otras cosas, estás sintiendo otras cosas, güey, que no podías o no sentías antes.
Exactamente. Esa es mi rola.
Esa es tu rola, güey. Si yo tengo que recomendar una rola más acá groovy, güey.
Pero de amor.
De amor.
Más se vale de amor.
En este mes de amor y la amistad, güey.
Sí, amistad también.
Loving is Easy by Rex Orange County, güey.
Loving is easy.
You got me fucked up.
It used to be so hard to see.
Algo así va la rola, güey. Muy rica, muy sabrosa la rola. Mándensela a toda la gente que
a su ruca,
a su ruca, a su ruco, a su papá, a su mamá, a su perro.
A todos.
A todos.
Está bonita.
Se cuidan, cabrones.
está.
Ahí está.
Episodio 3, creo. A ver cómo lo sacamos, pero qué show.
In the books.
Dale, ánimo, gente.
Peace.